tries to do in the attempt to move away from the Marvel formula, as people have put it, still doesn't work. It does nothing. It achieves nothing spectacular with moving away from the typical Marvel blueprint. I was so disappointed. I mean, I will say one thing. Just like Green Lantern, or rather, let me say, I don't know, BVS. There weren't that many scenes of the movie that kind of put me asleep. Like, okay, now I'm bored. Like, BVS, it's a movie that has lots of things going on. So you'll never really fall asleep during a movie, you know? Not to say it's amazing.
I did.
Not to say it's great. But you fell asleep.
No joke, dude. I'm not. You remember the slow mo ass Martha robbery and the slow mo funeral? I was asleep during that action, man.
Okay, let me use Man of Steel.
Okay then, yeah, that's
Snyder, just there's lots of things happening at any given moment. It's eye-catching, and it'll sort of hold you from drifting off. And that's exactly what he is for most of the part. Like, for most of it, that's what it is. And again, I don't want to give spoilers. I don't know. Do you guys want spoilers? Do you?
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I'm still.
I won't.
I know Harry Styles is in there, so.
Yeah, we all know Star Fox, but like, okay, like for example, the jokes and all this type of thing.
Yeah.
They're very. They don't land. Okay, like for example, Gilgamesh. Okay, so there's a scene where the Eternals. Okay, you know they're getting the band back together. You know that typical trope. And they go to Gilgamesh, and he's in Australia. He's down under, like a desert place, in like a secluded house, and he's with Thena. And after they find him, they have, I don't know, lunch or supper, and they begin speaking. That's the same scene in the trailer that had Spike saying, now that Captain Rogers is gone, who's going to lead the Avengers? And then Icarus says, I can lead them. It's that scene. So so when Gilgamesh walks in like from the kitchen or whatever, he has like these giant mugs, and it's like, you know, try this beer, whatever. Odin told me the recipe. You know, now they start name dropping. You know, the fact that Odin gave him the recipe, and then what is Kumail Nanjiani's character again? I don't know. Let me just call him Kumail. Yeah. Then Kumail's character also name drops in Asgardian. He says, you know, Thor used to. I don't know. Okay, would you guys prefer we do? Like, I want to show you the scenes so you can like soak it in, because like, you know, I could just like a little video call, switch camera thing, and then play the scene, but I don't know.
Nah,
but
send me the link. I'll watch it.
I'll watch it like later this week. So yeah, I'm good.
So Camille says, you know, Thor used to hang around me as a kid, but now he's an Avenger. He's too cool to answer my calls, and I'm like, I mean, okay, granted, the whole timelines, it was only like 300, 350, whatever. So yeah, it makes sense on that front. It's just lazy retconning, and Thor follow around this guy as a kid, and because, you know, like, okay, so like throughout the movie, the entire I guess plot point with his character, Kumail, is that of course he's like a Bollywood celebrity, so he's like super famous and all these things, and then he has that guy who's like following him around, like recording him and whatever, and it's for like a little documentary thing, and that's the entire thing about, he's been doing these movies for hundreds of years, or I don't know what you call it. he's basically been around since the dawn of cinema, and of course, he has to lie and say, "Oh, this is my great grandfather," but no, it was just him. But the point is, he's been popular for over 100+ years, whatever. And a point that he makes that Thor used to follow him around during his escapades when he was a kid. This would have been like what, 200 AD? I don't know, 75 AD, 100 AD. But it's little things like that. They don't fill me with like that, haha, funny scene, like the Norman Osborn scene, or Web Blood. It's just.
You know what it feels like, Mali?
How does it feel like?
Dude, you know what it feels like? It feels like this movie knows that it's so isolated from the rest of the MCU that it feels like it needs to throw references to be like, look, guys, we're also in the MCU. It's like,
exactly.
The fuck? But those characters are never going to interact with mainline Marvel characters. You're never going to see Chris with like Doctor Strange or some shit like that. It's not going to happen. So they feel like we need to put a reference so people know we exist.
So I think I do recall seeing on Twitter or IG or somewhere else that the Eternals had to make a specific. Okay, so they had to meet a specific quota in the box office in order to, rationalize a sequel to happen. They didn't meet that quota. So at this point, it's up in the air if Feige will ever get them a sequel or will ever bring these characters back. Because again, okay, so the way the movie ends is like...
They said that shit straight up. Like, when asked about it, they said that a sequel to Eternals is not a priority right now. So...
And even, okay, so, like... Okay. The post-credit, post everything does say the Eternals will return. Okay, yeah, but will they? Also,
Nah.
Not in this phase.
So there's two post-credit scenes, right? The first one is, of course, Star Fox. And his sidekick, I forgot his name. It's like a teleporting troll thingy.
Yeah.
Played by
the troll.
It was... who voiced him? Patton Oswalt, yeah. So Patton voiced him. By the way, the CGI is horrendous for that, character. It's just PS2 cutscene, literally. It's bad. It's the worst
I saw that.
CGI I've seen in a Marvel film for an alien character. The worst. So that's the first the first post-credit. The second one revolves around Black Knight, the character. And yeah, and basically it's like, so throughout the movie, also again, spoiler, there's no Black Knight activity. It was very weird because the way they set it up, the way they cast Kit Harington, and it was like, oh yeah, cool, the Black Knight's been fighting alongside the Eternals. No, he's not. He literally, he's Cersei's love interest. He's like a teacher or some shit like that. We see him at the beginning of the movie. Then he's gone. He's just a regular human. Then he comes back in the post-credit / end of the movie. There's no Black Knight whatsoever. There's no Black Knight fight. There's no this. There's no that. There's no back in the Middle Ages.
So it's Venom in No Way Home.
Pretty much. Pretty much. And then the post-credit happens, and I guess he's in a room somewhere. And there's like this chest, this like wooden chest, and he approaches it, and then that's when we see the sword, not Black Sabbath, the Ebony Blade.
Oh yeah.
And he reaches for it, and as he's about to reach for it, it starts speaking to him. I think it says, I don't know, the only path that awaits you is death, whatever. And then we do get a surprising cameo, although it's only an audio cameo. As he's about to grab the sword, someone says, "Are you sure you want to do that?" And then they say his name. I forgot the character's name. Black Knight. You guys will remind me. But they say to him, are you sure you want to do that? So and so. And that cameo is, of course, from none other than Mahershala Ali, which is again Blade. So that's, I guess, Blade's first appearance in the movie, in the universe. Yeah, we are going to see Blade. And it's surprising to me how, of all of the announced people in the 2020 Disney keynote, you'd be seeing, or rather hearing Blade so soon, which is, okay. I mean, yeah.
I guess it's like with Abomination and Shang-Chi. Like, they know, like, his appearance is, like, so far away, and they want you to keep him fresh in your mind. Even though he's not going to be doing anything in his future, but, like, yeah.
Right. She-Hulk is in, like, what, 2 months, 3 months? We're going to see it there, so. Even that was
maybe.
Yeah. No. He's already.
What you mean, maybe? Where else is he going to go?
I don't know.
They confirmed General Ross. They confirmed, of course, Mark Ruffalo. They confirmed Emil Blonsky. I forgot the character's name. We might see General Ross. And the thing is, William Hurt, he's been dealing with cancer, so he's really skinny looking. So they might recast him or whatever. You guys saw how skinny looking Black Widow. He did not look like Civil War. General Ross, William Hurt. He's very sick.
Yeah.
And even the CGI didn't help. He still looked like emaciated. Who else are we getting?
Oh, dude.
I don't think we're getting Baby Ross, though. I'm not sure.
I never
heard him talk about that.
That's kind of sad.
Tim Roth, that's the guy's name. Tim
Dude,
Roth,
we got a comment, man. Of all things, I haven't gotten a comment in a while. Like, someone actually commented on the one episode we did. Like, because I remember there's like, just now you used the word emaciated. And this dude, like, he made a comment directed at you specifically. He was like, wait a minute, let me find this shit. Oh, here it is. This guy named Freddy. He said, like, dude, what's with your pal and his, like, $10 words? Like, what the fuck? What the... Like, it makes you sound holier than thou or some shit. Like, what the fuck are $10 words, man? Just...
What the fuck does that? The fuck does that mean?
I don't know. Is that supposed to be a diss? Like, I don't know.
I guess so.
I didn't catch that. Cool, I guess, man.
I'll take it.
I mean, read a dictionary, bruv. But, like, you do you. I mean, he said $10, so he must be American. Of course they don't understand vocab, Mali. Of course they don't understand fucking vocab.
He used to like the US spelling color COLOR.
Yeah.
Yeah. No fucking vowels.
Yeah. Who else we see?
When's the War Machine series coming out?
Hey, that's way... Armor Wars, yeah.
Oh, that's like October. Ooh, that's far away.
Oh, fuck.
Far away.
Why?
That's so far, because at this point, I don't think they've even began filming for it. They haven't.
Nah.
I think Don's still doing a show on, like, ABC or whatever it is, so he's still, like, way out there. And it's weird, because with that show, there's been no casting news. But speaking of casting, one of the leakers on Reddit and like what have you, they said today that casting for the Fantastic Four has began. It's officially began.
Yeah. Cillian Murphy for Doom. Oh yeah.
How I wish. Hey,
yeah.
It's funny. When I brought up Ben Affleck,
he's like, he could play Reed Richards.
I saw, like, there's been lots of tweets about him as Reed, which is, like, weird, because it was just a random thought. Like, as soon as I saw that picture, I was like, not bad. But I do hope they one, give Reed some justice, and two, Ben Grimm, because the Ben Grimm we saw in Fantastic just looked like a random college, I don't know,
just the guy, man.
Just the guy, like like a mechanic or some shit. Like, when is...
Dude, the whole movie, before you transform, I'm like, why are you here? Like, I get why Reed's here. He's a genius, but, like, why are you here?
Like, how do you end up at the Storm Lab? And
he wasn't even on the team. They literally called him at home, and they were like, come down here, just...
He arrived at... Mr. Storm's building, and it was like, hey, where's Reed? And then suddenly he's staying. Like, dude, go home. Go eat. Why are you...
Why?
It didn't make sense. Didn't help with anything. Just a guy. He has like 9th grade level physics knowledge. It's just, I
Dude, that it still gets me to this day. It's clobbering time origin. Just, it's what his brother used to say right before he'd beat him up, and like, man,
That's sad and
necessary.
kind of fucked up.
Trauma. Dude.
It's trauma. Trauma the line.
Like, 05 Ben Grimm was like, yeah, I'm a cool guy. So I'm going to say these catchphrases. This guy's like, just reaching in his mind. Ew,
Says my brother used to beat the shit out of me, so now I use it in catchphrase.
Trauma. He needs to chill.
The fuck?
and when he says it, it's so out of nowhere. Seriously, he literally says it once at the end when he's running up to punch Doom, comes out of nowhere. It's clobbering time. Bah! And that's it. Just, okay.
It sounds like some shit that would go down in the CW. Just saying.
Shit. Oh, man.
Oh, speaking of DC, apparently Keaton has signed on for 4 independent new projects.
That's good to hear.
Apart from Batgirl. So. Oh, and Justice League, Flashpoint, whatever it's called these days.
Yeah. Did you hear, you hear that Diggle from Arrow is gonna get his own not like his own series, but a series where he's like leading this team of metahumans. They're gonna go undercover at this college. It's basically like 21 Jump Street meets X-Men.
Jump Street, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. That's so fucking stupid. Why? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Why the fuck?
It's gonna be
fucking.
it's gonna be interesting. You told me you're not gonna tune into
It's
episode
not.
1.
It's not. It's good. You know what it's gonna be? It's gonna be a whole bunch of SJW shit shoved down people's throats, and it's just gonna be a fucking boring
Come
series.
on.
Think about it. Nah, it will be. Trust me.
21 Jump
CW.
Street, but with metahumans? Come on, dude. How can that be bad?
That's. No. You'd be. They ruined the Flash.
I'm indifferent, but I don't know.
Okay, listen. If you can.
I mean, look at Peacemaker. Apparently, that show sucks. Apparently, I haven't watched it, but apparently it's mid. And it's just like, I don't know, because I do know Gunn is involved, but sometimes Gunn's comedy falls flat. Like, okay, for example, there's an excerpt that I think Peacemaker said, I think in the first episode, I'm not sure what it was. But basically, he was like at a school telling kids about heroes and all these things. And then he mentions, and again, it's a lie, because he's a villain or anti-hero, whatever he is. And he's like, Superman has a scat fetish. Like,
That's supposed to be funny.
how's that? Okay, how's that funny?
Okay, can I say something real quick? Isn't it weird that out of all the other interesting characters, that Peacemaker is the one to get his own series?
Not really.
I mean, you could have given Idris Elba as
You mean...
he would have been better.
Wait, he was campaigning for... the story about, he put Superman in the hospital with a kryptonite bullet. Like, he was campaigning to have, a movie of that. But, what would that movie be outside of that one scene?
It's like, you're just a guy with, supposedly alien tech, which, again, was never resolved in the movie, because, obviously, in the comics, he gets it from aliens. But just a guy with random nanotech-ish guns. How are you going to fend off Superman? Batman is better equipped than you, and he lost after some time. Well, obviously, without kryptonite, but, if you only have enough kryptonite for a bullet, how are you going to defend yourself the entire movie? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Batman had, he had, aerosols, he had brass knuckles, he had this and that, he had lots of things, he had a fucking spear. What are you going to do? And again,
dude, that bugs me, man. That spear I'm just saying, you're Batman. You can make this kryptonite into anything. You made it into a fucking smoke bomb, and you chose to make it into a spear.
Oh, you're pulling a me, Piani. Well done. Now you know how it feels.
Nah, this isn't the same. This ain't Whiplash, man.
It's is the exact same thing.
And you have to imagine as well, how much does Kryptonite cost? Because how much cost to afford? It must really be expensive. I mean, of course, he's Bruce Wayne, but I mean, yeah, technically Bloodsport is an assassin, right? He's an assassin, I'm not sure. He's kind of like a Deadshot-ish. But I still feel like Deadshot is more money than Bloodsport.
Yeah.
Bloodsport seems like a guy who does it for the thrill of killing. He's a killer. Even Deadshot's like, I'm not going to do this and this. You know, he has his limits. Bloodsport, nah, he's kind of like a cold motherfucker. Kind of like Peacemaker, in a sense. But how are you going to afford enough nights to put up a decent fight against Superman?
Okay, I mean, you don't have to... Okay, how about this, right? Let's set a premise here. Lex Luthor offers the same contract to 5 different people, right? Each an assassin. And they're all have to take down Superman. But they keep getting in each other's way. It becomes like this cat and mouse shit. You know, Superman is going around, and he doesn't know this is going on. Till, you know, near the end, he takes a bullet to the chest, and it's like, shit. So you could make a movie out of that. It would be interesting.
Like, Deadshot gets Bloodsport. He gets the final hit unexpectedly.
Yeah, something like that.
Catches him off guard.
Yeah. Because you can't have the whole movie him fighting Superman.
Who's in the movie?
Deathstroke, Deadshot, Bloodsport. I don't want to have Peacemaker because I feel like he doesn't fit like, the whole idea of what's going on here.
Also, they haven't met. They didn't meet till the Suicide Squad. So yeah. So Deadshot, Deathstroke, and what's this? Bloodsport. Just the 3 of them.
I mean, I want to add 2 more just to give it a bit of variety, but I feel like that's a bit too much. Yeah. I mean, 3 of them would be fine.
Maybe start with Deathstroke or something.
Yeah.
How can we... I mean, at the end of the day, it would have to be Kryptonite, the entire movie. Those would have to be the primary weapons. Some sort of modified Kryptonite. It would have to be that, right? Because what are you going to do, really?
I don't know, man. It just...
I can see that. I mean, I can see that. Wait, do we have like a magical villain?
Really?
Besides Black Adam? I'm saying, do we?
Should we, though? That's the question. Because this, more or less, this is Bloodsport's movie. Because at the end of the day, he's the guy who gets the shot. So, if we have a magical character, it can't be powerful enough to like, he can just take him out like that.
Magical weapons. Because those weapons can hurt him. Yeah, they can't kill him, but they can hurt him.
So who would that be?
That's the thing.
Because the magical guy I can think of is Dr. Fate, but like he's a good guy, so... Yeah. Who's that mid-spill something, like the guy you defeat by like saying his... Yeah. How about him?
Oh, but that guy's like a 5th dimensional imp. That guy's too OP. He could...
Yeah, he's busted.
He could Thanos Superman out of the universe, really. He's kind of OP. Like, I remember when he was on Batman the Brave and the Bold. Yeah, he was truly unstoppable. I mean, you have to trick him to say his own name to defeat him, but other than that, jeez, he's like OP plus.
What about Vandal Savage? He's not magical, but...
Too strong. That's something. I mean, wait, what made him immortal and gave him like the intelligence again? It was a meteorite.
Yeah.
From an alien planet.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Is it magical?
Could be.
No,
we don't know. Just...
I mean, what could honestly make you to go from a caveman to this hyper-evolved being and then also give you super strength? There would have to be some sort of magic, right? Some form of like something that alters you on a molecular level. Has to be something like magic.
What if you could have the previous Bloodsport?
The
previous Bloodsport, who would that be?
There's this guy who was a racist, part of a supremacist group called Alexander Trent.
Oh, so you mean like a mantle type situation?
Oh.
Yeah.
And then you get Idris Elba's guy taking it from him.
Yeah, that could be a cool story.
Because at
I
the
can
end of
see
the day, it is his movie, so yeah, it could work.
Yeah.
We'd have to get like more scenes of him and the daughter, though. That was some funny shit,
Yeah,
man.
a small origin type thing. I can see that. Yeah.
Dude, I want to see the scene where, like, you know, in jail when they were yelling, he's like, "Oh, I tried to lay off, but then she dragged out the maternity test." Like, I want to see that. That'd be funny, man. Oh shit.
So it's funny that they went that route with the whole, daddy-daughter relationship because
Yeah.
obviously Deadshot and his daughter are very close. I feel like they wanted to distance themselves from that similarity.
That's
It's like,
so.
oh, no.
Yeah.
He's black, he's an assassin, but he hates his daughter.
Yeah. That's the one.
There's no
big
love in this
thing,
house.
'cause- dude, when I saw that, I'm like, are you sure this role, like, it feels like this role was written for Will Smith, but then he was like, nah, and they just like changed it a little bit. So, yeah.
We all expected it to be like, oh, how you doing, baby? Oh, why'd you get caught up in this mess? But there's like, fuck you. Oh, okay. It's just different.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, damn, man, if fucking Polka Dot Man was still around, like, you think he'd work in this
Oh, he's kind of a heavy hitter. I won't even lie. Because again, okay, his parents, well, his mom, experimented on him using, what was it? Because again, those portals are interdimensional rifts in his skin.
Star Labs, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Star
sure,
Labs.
for Star Labs. And they were experimenting with, I don't know, portals or black holes.
She experimented on all of her children, and like he was one of the few who
and they all
survived.
died.
Yeah.
But I feel like, so where were they drawing that energy? I mean, she's got to be hella smart. She's still alive too. No, she's dead. He killed her. That's kind of fucked up. But I get it.
It's a weird analogy to, like, I don't want to make this analogy, but doesn't Cyclops got this same thing going on where his eyes are portals?
To another dimension. That's just like constantly like a fire or laser. I don't know what would you call that material? Light? Plasma? Probably plasma.
Yeah, it's more akin to plasma.
Gas. Yeah, superheated gas. So it's like a constantly burning furnace of a planet. And then his eyes is like a portal.
The only person strong enough to like hold it back is Jean Grey. So, Phoenix Jean Grey, yeah.
No, but like the thing is, beasts have to be so smart to create a substance because it's not glass. Some sort of substance that can hold or refract that light back. And also, how does it contain it? Does it?
It's like the ruby quartz lenses. So.
Yeah, I don't know. Must be some laser shit.
You know what we fucked up, right? Is if the fact that Cyclops was blind, like, there's nothing else that can close that thing. So he has to, like, he can't open his eyes, except obviously to use this shit. And he's kind of blind. I think that would be more interesting. He has a pair of fucking glasses. You just wear them, and like when you use your powers, just take them off. I mean, so simple.
That would be a miserable life, though. Oh my god, I can't even look at my hands. Mind you, he has like the baddest hand in the entire X-Men roster. Like, damn, that would be crazy.
Hey, life would suck.
Yeah, but that's like debatable. But yeah.
Speaking of, initially, right, in the initial script of Wakanda Forever, there was going to be a character, because they were describing her, they were like, she's going to be 5'11", she's going to fly, and she has to be African. And many people were like, oh, that's Storm, right? Because again, what other character, what other actress could they introduce in the Wakanda franchise but Storm? But that idea was scrapped, sometime in early 2020.
But it made sense though.
About to add her.
Storm had a thing with Black Panther for a while. Yeah.
But now it's like because Chadwick passed before they even began filming. I mean, I think a script was drafted, but again, that script included Chadwick. So after he died, they had to rework the script, remove Storm, add in the Shuri thing, which again now in itself might also be removed because
they're back.
The Tita's an anti-vaxxer.
They're filming again.
No, I know that.
Oh, yeah.
But is Letitia still involved? Is my question.
Mm.
Because what they're doing now, I do know, as of now, they're filming with Winston something. They're filming with like everyone, Nakia, Njobu, the other one. They are filming those scenes, but they're filming scenes that don't have to include Black Panther in them to obviously fast track the process. Because I mean, at this point, Letita has delayed production by 5 months by not wanting to get vaxxed. So they might as well start somewhere, film scenes that don't need the Black Panther in them. But as of her status and returning, that's up in the air. So I don't know what's happening with her. But
I want to see her as Black Panther, though.
No, I don't.
Yeah, neither do I.
I want to see that guy who was the head of the gorilla tribe. I think he could do.
Winston Duke. Yeah, he would be fucking awesome. Not like a Black Panther, like a gorilla costume.
Yeah.
Let me show you a casting choice. So, and also this is pretty interesting. There was a quote from Chadwick from a long time ago, 2018, where he was like, "This character is bigger than me, so I want them, Marvel, to not be afraid to continue the legacy of the character, even if I'm no longer involved." And that was actually something that he said, and even his own brother said that he believes that Chadwick would want them to recast him to continue the legacy of the character. And I mean, personally, I might want to see him recast because at this point, it's so early. Like the Black Panther mythology, let's put it in those words. There's so much we haven't seen with Black Panther.
Yeah.
We didn't get a chance to get the Illuminati.
Yeah.
A chance to see
Namor
the crisis where they go to space, the colonization arc, because that's also in the comics. There's so many things we didn't get to see because Chadwick passed. And it's like, do we rob ourselves of those stories? Which again, it sounds selfish, but Chadwick always wanted this character to continue.
Yeah,
he wanted to continue. So it's like, just...
They almost had this same discussion with Iron Man after Iron Man 3, because at the time Robert Downey Jr. was like, he didn't want to play this singular character anymore. He wanted to do other things. So they were thinking of doing like a James Bond recasting of Iron Man. You think it would have worked if he didn't come back around?
No. Wouldn't. He's too tight. He's too tight. The way his Iron Man functions, it's too tied to him as a person.
Yeah.
With Chadwick, it's not that tied. It's not that that deeply bonded. He did 2 films with
2 films, 4 appearances, and
yeah.
There is also so some news that I discovered yesterday. 2 days ago. So for Multiverse of Madness, apparently, and this is still speculation, but Marvel Studios. Okay, so there's 2 things. One, they contacted Ben Affleck in November for a possible cameo as Daredevil of Earth, I guess. Yeah. Earth 2003, whatever.
Earth 2003.
But they did contact him. He hasn't replied. However, they did contact him for a cameo. And then, now there's speculation, which again has no proper footing, that Tom Cruise, and again, these are leakers from Reddit.
Yeah, I heard that too, man. Shit.
Tom Cruise, is it Invincible Iron Man? I think it's Invincible Iron Man. I'm not sure.
It's a variant, though. That's what the thing is like, yeah.
I want to bring him back. Well, not even back, because obviously...
It's a variant. It's not the same guy, so yeah.
No. The reason I'm saying bring him back is because obviously Tom was the first choice for Iron Man, and then he couldn't do it, and they brought in Downey, as per recommendation by John. But they're bringing Tom Cruise in to play a variant of Tony Stark. And again, this isn't a good variant. So he is going to be the Invisible Iron Man, which of course in the comics turns into like a power-hungry asshole, so on and so forth. And they want to bring him in for a sort of showdown with him and Strange, because again, this version would have been in the Illuminati already. In the Illuminati.
Oh, shit.
So he's this cocky Tony Stark who's been in the Illuminati. He obviously has the Invincible Iron Man armor, because that one's also like OP as fuck. And they want him to be like an antagonistic character to Strange and Wong and yeah. So it's very interesting, the plans they have for Doctor Strange, because I feel like Diaz, he isn't exactly a big character, but he's very popular. He's not Spider-Man level. He's not.
No, he's not.
Like,
he's not.
He's like slightly below Hulk. He's edging Hulk status slightly, But what they could accomplish with Multiverse of Madness, with these cameos, which again, they're not really cameos. They're more like casting, supporting character, supporting character. They could break, the same 1 billion threshold that Spider-Man did. It could really get a lot of people talking. Because, we do know the Reed thing. And Patrick Stewart, his name is still being thrown around there 2 years later. I know I told Yanni a long time ago, even before Endgame, that plans. Oh, I remember. So we were speaking about Infinity War, and the Endgame hadn't come out yet, and I was mentioning the fact that with Ant-Man 2 having been released before, after Infinity War, Scott being stuck in the quantum realm meant that they had time travel, which again, that ended up being a correct prediction. Yeah. But it was pretty obvious. I feel like any sort of hardcore Marvel fan, immediately after watching Ant-Man be stuck in the quantum realm in the movie, sort of knew with what Janet said. Oh yeah, time travel.
The time moves differently down there.
Was the fact that with time travel and the ability to cross dimensions, there was a leak stating that Patrick Stewart was hauled in by Marvel Studios to potentially come in as a version of Professor X from his original universe. And again, now with Multiverse of Madness, we do now have that precedent for characters coming in from everywhere. Because even the trailer, I don't know if you guys noticed, but the trailer for MOM has every single Marvel, I guess, what do you call it, studio logo thingy. The
opening
in the beginning.
Yeah.
The Multiverse of Madness one, it was like a fractured one containing every single one from Blade. Every single Marvel, bumper from Blade. And it was like in a fractured pattern. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but that's what the trailer showed. Which it's kind of like a pseudo clue in a sense where it's like, okay, so we're jumping into these spots in Marvel history. Because again, you wonder who's in this spot. Because the Maguire movies have the logo with the comic, flipping and the sounds of that.
Because with those old Marvel logos, I miss those because for the individual heroes, when they would like flip through the comic pages, it would be that hero's comic. Because with the Hulk, it was Hulk comics. With Spidey, it was Spider-Man comics. Now it's just everybody.
They still kind of have it. Because I watched the Eternals, and obviously, before they pan to Hulk and Cap and Black Panther and Thor, the initial few seconds is the character. Do you remember? Because I remember before I had noticed that, and then when I was watching Black Panther, I noticed it for the first time because I saw the Black Panther, comic runs. Just like the first 2 seconds, I saw Black Panther, and I forgot about it. And now, when I was in the Eternals, it was the same thing. The classic Eternals drawn by Jack Kirby. So they still have that, but it's so quick, you kind of miss it, which kind of sucks. Oh, there it is. All of the Marvel bumpers from history. This is in the DS trailer. I was thinking for the screenshot. Let me send it in the group. But I feel like, come on, guys. This is a clue. It has to be.
Thing is, do we want to see more of what we saw in No Way Home in movies
Yes.
like Multiverse of Madness? Because
So Tom, you can see that's at least 3 different bumpers.
yeah, they're all fractured. There's the shot from like when Black Panther crashed down in suit, like sent out that pulse, and that the red one is the original one when like the comic pages would flip
The
down.
Maguire era.
Yeah.
The Maguire era. And then that one is like from 2000, I think 8 to like 12. So who's in 8 to 12?
Iron Man, Avengers,
Hulk. Yeah.
Yeah, but what character?
Captain
Wait.
America.
What did Fantastic Four have? Was it the one in the corner?
Yeah, because it
Yeah.
was early. It was much.
It was
one of the
04,
earlier-
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was
But yeah, this is
after Hulk.
definitely
Wait, Molly. We're gonna see multiverse versions of characters, right?
pretty much.
Do you think this is a chance for them to up the power scale temporarily? Like we could see Sentry, or like Heartbreaker Hulk, or like those kinds of characters.
You just reminded me. So another leak that was dropped is that Hulk is leaving Earth after She-Hulk.
Really?
Which again sets up the other rumor we heard a long time ago, stating that they might be interested in bringing, or rather introducing, a proper World Breaker Hulk story up.
I mean,
I don't know if you guys remember hearing that.
yeah.
But
Dude, there was talk back in like way back when Ragnarok was coming soon. There was this theory like, oh, like we're gonna get a proper like World War Hulk story because he's on Sakaar and everything. But like, since
Exactly.
yeah, but like, is it too late? Is this Hulk really like the Hulk we have now? Do you see him as that guy?
He could still regress. Don't count that out. The fact that they might be setting this up shows that whatever will happen in She-Hulk might regress. Because again, also, obviously, we've now been told that the reason why he is back to being Bruce Banner is because of the blood transfusion that had to have happened.
Yeah.
In the 5 years during the blip. So I guess what they want to state is that he can probably change at will now. Or maybe he has to do it in like a lab or something with some, syringes and so forth. But he had to be Banner to do the blood transfusion thing.
Yeah. Because I remember there was this
on 5 years.
Yeah. There was a show on Disney XD, the Avengers show on that channel. They were, like Bruce Banner made a deal with the Hulk to like stay with the Avengers, and he was like okay, what do you want in return? And Hulk was like, I stay Hulk, not puny Banner. It's like that's what I thought they were going for, like with I realized Hulk wasn't the problem. Just that's what I thought they meant, like he stays the Hulk. But then on that show, every now and then, like Bruce Banner would want like some time to himself, so he would revert back, and that's what I thought they were doing in Shang-Chi. Like, oh, okay, this must be like one of the days like Hulk and Banner made a deal, like, okay, like after X amount of time, you just let me be me.
Something is definitely happening, though.
Yep.
Something's definitely happening. Something's definitely brewing.
In the She-Hulk show, and Abomination's in there somehow, in his evolved form.
Yeah, with the gills and fin.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. But back to what Mahmoud is saying. We are gonna see, those kind of variants that up the power scale. Because Invincible Iron Man is pretty. Do I want to say he can 1v1 Thanos MCU? Not sure.
Depends which suit.
But yeah, leading edge, anything past that, I feel like he'd do better than his current self.
Yeah, with the nanotech.
With the self we saw in Infinity War. I don't know. Do you guys think which suit do you think is better? We do know that the Endgame suit is evolved. It's a newer mark. which suit is actually more powerful against Thanos?
Well, we talking with or without the stones? Because if it's with,
Obviously, without the
No,
stones.
obviously without, because he died in 20 seconds. I'm talking about like just the suit, pure suit power. I still think Infinity War. I mean,
Okay, I want to say post Infinity War because I feel like he was getting ready for this shit. You know, Thanos was still out there. He was like, okay, I versed this motherfucker once. I need to be prepared. Like you saw, he did have a lot of upgrades. Like with the shield, it's now holographic.
yeah, he doesn't have
put
to
time and
divert
effort into upgrading
nanotech
the
to the
suit.
shield.
yeah, because
Yeah,
again with the shield thing, he didn't. I think it was from a Titan. He
Yeah.
learned his lesson with that.
Yeah.
You can't use nano shield because you use nano shield, you sacrifice your face, you sacrifice your chest, whatever it happens to be.
yeah.
So yeah, little lessons learned. So you guys think that anything that the Infinity War suit can do,
The
the
Endgame
Endgame
suit can
do
do better. Yeah,
Yeah, because he always learns.
yeah.
Yeah. he always-
You saw the videos. Every time he fights somebody, gets his ass kicked, he learns.
Yeah.
You know which suit I would have loved to see? It's the symbiote suit, man.
Really?
Symbiote. Yeah, Superior Iron Man suit. That thing is amazing.
Yeah. I see.
I would have loved to see a proper adaptation of Extremis. That's just me. But like, you know.
I mean, it's still in the world.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's
Eastwood and Shang-Chi.
Okay,
We don't know
okay.
what Sharon Carter's doing. We don't know.
What if Extremis and Justin Hammer show up in the Armor War series?
it makes sense for him
I mean,
to
that's
be
the thing,
there.
because the Power Broker in the comics is the one who deals with extremists, you know.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of connections, also the fact that it still exists in the world. I mean, you have a Black Widow. My question is, that Black Widow fighting that guy, was that guy part of those experiments back then, or did he get it recently? I don't know, because I feel like everyone we saw as an agent of, you know, Killian died or was killed by Tony during that battle.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Should we expect? I mean,
It feels because, I mean, the early version of the serum, people just blew up. They didn't take to it right, like that guy at the Chinese
That's
theater.
right.
So, yeah.
exactly the one that put Happy in the coma. So,
So he would have to
so
have
you're
gotten it
saying,
recently.
however many,
Yeah.
like the perfected extremists, basically.
Right.
So, but the thing is, so what Muhammad is saying is that there's still some foot soldiers running around on Earth some way, the perfected serum, and they're fine.
Yeah.
They don't need I guess what would you call it, a pick me up. They don't need like an annual injection. They're fine. They can survive.
Yeah.
Also, another thing is, did Killian die at the end of 3? Because I know he
Yeah.
gets whacked off.
No, he died. Like Pepper got him.
She nuked him or something, wasn't it?
She got him with the repulsor
she-
blast. You know, she finished him.
Yeah.
Which it actually makes sense because in the film, like whenever an extremist soldier would take damage, like they'd heat up for a second and then they'd go back. But with Killian,
Yeah, 'cause
he was all fucked up because he fell like 10 stories and he was already heated up. So any more energy would have just blown him up. He would have exploded like a battery. Just yeah.
Basically, Jamie Foxx, Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got into the grid, man.
Did y'all have... I had mixed feelings to Pepper being the one to save the day. Like, I mean, how do you...
I don't mind it.
It just
Tony
raised
did
so
the
many
work, though.
questions.
Tony did the work, though. I mean, that's the shit part. Like, Tony did all this work, right? He
We'll
went to the
probably
store.
see the suit again, right?
What,
Which-
from Endgame?
The rescue armor.
I don't think
Maybe.
so. Gwyneth Paltrow's not really into acting anymore.
But like, it's nano, so it could potentially fit Morgan or someone else.
You mean Ironheart?
I don't want it to go to anybody else. I think the rescue armor was like
It was hers.
her thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't go to anyone else unless it was part of like the C's in No Way Home. But like, I mean,
Why would they seize the rescue armor though?
yeah.
Where would it?
And they
It
seized
wouldn't be, 'cause
Stark's other
wherever they
stuff.
seized it-
So
No, but what they seized was Peter's stuff plus stuff from London. I think the rescue armor, anything, is still with Pepper and Morgan in like their lodge
Yeah.
mansion, whatever you call it.
speaking of
Which is,
seized,
you see,
I wanted
it's
to
weird
act,
for
yeah.
me. No, speak.
No, like I remember, like I was like speaking of people's season shit. I remembered in Iron Man 2, like Rhodey just walked into Tony's place, stepped into the suit, and like after they fought, he just flew off in it. Like he
Did
could
you
just
not hear what Stark said of what Nick said? Is like, yeah,
brother just strolled
let
up
him
and
take the suit.
Yeah,
He let him take the suit. It's like I put in redundancy so that other people can't take the suit.
but
Because he was dying, he was like, "Fuck it, Rhodey, you can have the suit."
And
like
and also when you look at Iron Man 1, and next time, baby, I feel like Tony eventually
like he knew
went
like
back to
yeah
his suit compatible for Rhodey because he didn't know Rhodey was like interested in it. So
yeah
probably did add some things in the second movie that made it so it's like, okay, this suit recognizes James Rhodes.
yeah. But
But
does that mean
anyone
like
else, just
Rhodey has his own Jarvis? Like I don't know.
No, he doesn't. He's never had his own Jarvis,
Yeah.
but he's never had to use the.
Yeah.
He does, but Rhodey's never had the need for an AI because he's a fucking amazing pilot. That's why.
Yeah. Dude, that bugged me. It's like Tony took like half a movie to learn how to properly use the suit, and Rhodey just steps in and he's ready to go. I mean,
Here's the thing, though.
He's a trained U.S. soldier.
not in an Iron Man suit.
Rhodey. No, but then okay, wait. Here's my defense. The Iron Man suit is mostly based off of the HUD system, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that HUD system is mostly operated like, okay, you look at the software and the configuration. Most of it, even in the real world, as in our world, most of it is pretty accurate to what actual HUDs are in the US, Air Force. Most of it. Favreau basically.
And Tony made stuff for the military. He made planes, so it's not like such a jarring jump.
Favreau himself based most of the HUD from real life HUD systems in like fighter jets and in the actual real world, military. So Rhodes, being this decorated guy and also being a colonel, he's probably seen many HUDs in his career. He's probably flown many jets, many planes, this, that. And for him, it's just like, oh yeah, I know this. This for me is familiar. So I can understand that. Tony's the guy. He's smart, which would help him to learn and understand it. Just like how he understood thermonuclear physics in like a weekend, well, 2 days or whatever.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know it off the bat. He had to study it, which is what he did. But Rhodes, that's his life. So for him, it's like whatever. It's like flying a plane.
It's also theft. Just saying, straight up theft.
He
Man.
let him. Is it theft if you let the person take it?
Nah. Later in the film, Pepper was making phone calls like he stole the Iron Man armor. It's Tony Stark's personal property, and
No, but Tony let him. It's Tony's property, right?
Yeah,
Tony said, "Boy, you can have it." Tony let the dude take it. Tony could have been like, Jarvis, shut the suit down. The suit would have been off.
Exactly.
It could have been one sentence. That suit would have been shut down, locked. Rhodey would have been stuck inside it. He let him have the suit.
Here's the thing, though. Remember how it was Jarvis during the Iron Patriot extremist fight?
He was. Jarvis was flying around, ruining all the other armors because he can't fight, which is fucking weird because he's an AI.
The thing is, you look at the armor that had the president.
Yeah.
Jarvis just fly him back.
that was just a shot. That wasn't even on.
I don't think. No, but the thing is, Jarvis isn't in Rhodey's armors. You notice whenever they switch to Rhodey's perspective, After Rhodey, he has like his own suit. There's nothing because he doesn't have an AI. It's hard because he doesn't need an AI.
I feel like he does have an AI, but it's not Jarvis. It's just like a generic AI.
Put in by Hammer back in like the second movie,
Nah, Hammer can't have AI. He's too dumb for AI.
He's too dumb for that shit.
I mean, dude, his suits can't even fit a head. How are you gonna have an AI costume? Yeah, he's way behind. He's a smart guy by real life standards, but MCU, he's a dunderhead.
Remember that there was a reference to the in Iron Man 2 there was that scene where they were showing all the different countries trying to make their own Iron Man suits, and they showed the one Hammer pilot, like the suit tried to walk forward and it turned it did a 180 and it broke his back, like, because there was a scene in Doctor Strange where they referenced like a pilot came in testing some kind of experimental suit, he has a broken back, like
Same guy.
Yeah.
Hammer, I don't know. I hope after like 13 years he's smarter.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, he's got a boyfriend. I mean, so like kudos to him, I guess. Like there was that one scene in. You didn't see that scene in what's that Marvel one shot, that All Hail the King?
Oh, yeah.
There was when Travis Story was in jail and he was like walking past, they cut to a shot of Hammer like sitting there next to this dude, and he was talking like, he's like, me and Tony Stark, we were more like, we weren't rivals or nothing, like we were tight, basically shit like that. And the dude puts his hand on him and he's like, not now, babe, not now.
Oh yeah, prison. Yeah. But though, okay, here's my question. Okay, Hammer was in a regular Superman in All Hail the King. I remember that. Why would they? Because again, we've heard rumors that he's chilling in the raft. Why would he be put in the raft? Because the raft is for like truly dangerous people. Truly dangerous, fast individuals. Why would Hammer be there?
Why would Hawkeye be there after Civil War? He's just a guy, man.
He's dangerous.
No, he's not just a guy. Hawkeye is fucking dangerous. This man can kill a person with a coin.
I saw the Hawkeye TV show, but they don't know that. He's just, to them, he's just a guy, man.
No, they do know that. They do know that.
Look at it this way: the files are declassified in Winter Soldier. They know everything he did. Well, people who would be smart enough to look it up, because I feel like every random, Harry wouldn't be googling, Hawkeye shield files and then see what he did. But obviously, the U.S. government knows what he did. So now he's very dangerous. He's on the list of top 10 dangerous people.
Okay. I can see Hawkeye. He's an assassin, whatever. Why is Scott Lang in the raft? He is just a guy.
I think they think, right? Because they're dumbasses. They think that him being Ant-Man and what he did in Germany, I want to say they think he can do it at will, like without the suit. But then, how would he do it?
I think his daughter can do that, actually.
You mean that?
Do you know that? Yeah, in the comics, his daughter gets so exposed to pump particles, she can do it at will.
Damn.
Yeah, and how old is she now? Like,
she's like 20 something. It's late. And also, okay, no, that was a weird time jump.
It was 5 years, not
2015, right?
Yeah.
No, wait. Ant-Man's 2015.
Yeah, the first one, yeah.
And how old is Cassie in Ant-Man? Because I know it's a birthday. How old is she turning in Ant-Man?
She was a little kid. Rumors full like princessy shit, wasn't it?
Was she like
11? And 11?
Okay, yeah, because Endgame's 8 years later, which when she comes out, she's played by like this mid-20s actress who's supposed to be like a young teenager, young adult type thing. She grew up. I mean, I don't know. But I feel like it's movie logic. Oh yeah, I know. She looks old, but she's actually, quite young.
Yeah, she got that Andrew Garfield thing going on.
He's exposed at this point. Is it a bit too late? I don't know. Yeah, Emma Furman, how old is she?
They recast her though. They were like talking about
just 20. Yeah,
she's being played by Catherine Newton now.
Shame. And I remember Emma was sad because she was like, oh, well, they didn't even tell me. She found out on Twitter, imagine.
Oh, fuck, dude.
Wow.
That's low, Marvel. Oh, that's low.
Wow. Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of a fault because she only signed a one picture deal. So what do you expect? He should have negotiated for a multiple picture deal. I feel like
you're gonna.
yeah, like they'll just bring me back. No, bitch, you signed a one deal contract. So it's technically not Marvel Studios' fault. It's her and her manager.
Yeah, it's a bit of complacency. There should have been like, you know what? All future iterations of this character
Ought to be played by me, yeah.
Exactly. You can't think, oh, I'm just gonna be offered the role.
She got Terrence Howarded, man. They pulled a Terrence Howard on this poor woman. Just
nah. She didn't want a lot of money. She didn't ask for money. She just thought she was gonna come back.
Neither did Terrence Howard. He wanted the same money. He didn't want like more money. He wanted the same money because
no, he wanted more, and he was getting paid than Robert Downey Jr. in the first.
Yeah, no.
That's what I'm saying. In the first one, he was more famous than RDJ, so he was getting paid more. Then the sequel rolled around. He wanted the same money.
No, it wasn't because he was more famous. See, what happened was, at that point, Howard got an Academy Award nomination, right? Downey was still a recovering druggie fresh from rehab. He was unpredictable. Downey is more popular than Howard, but Howard came off an Academy Award nomination. So he was big money. He was hot in the circuit. He came there, they offered him $3 million for Iron Man 1, and they offered Downey $500K. They did Iron Man 1. The movie was successful. Iron Man 2, Howard expects 3 again, if not more. They say, well, here's the thing. Downey is more popular now. He's back. He's had his, big comeback. The movie's successful. We're giving him $8 million, and we're giving you $500K now. Take it or leave it. No. I want 3, motherfucker. That's not gonna happen. And then he negotiated again. Fine. I'll take $750. Nope. Bye. And then they brought in Howard.
Don Cheadle, yeah.
For the same amount, $500K. Took it. He was like, bitch, I'll take that right away. He took it right away. First fall he had, he's like, I'm flying out to LA next week. So with him, it's like, not only did he expect the same $3 million, he wanted more potentially, because obviously when sequels come out, you negotiate for more.
Yeah.
Not only did he not get a raise, he got downsized, and then when he wanted a little bit more, they were like, no. That money you want is going to Downey now, because most of the budget would sort of shift in sequels, because now it's like most of it is going to actors and their paychecks. Because even Holland in Homecoming got a small amount of money, like $100K, whatever it was, because it was a cameo. In Homecoming, he got $500K, but now No Way Home, he got 17.5. It's not a big increase, considering Toby got a lot of money. Toby was smart, because Toby negotiated box office revenue plus a big paycheck. For comparison, Toby walked away with $75 million for Spider-Man 1. Just for comparison, he got box office residual plus his paycheck. He walked away with $75 million when it was all said and done. And that was only in the first movie. So Toby, he kind of played Marvel.
You finessed it. You pulled a Frank Ocean on their asses.
He pulled a Arnie, because even Arnie got big bang from Terminator. He negotiated residual as well.
Yeah, Terminator 3.
That's the trick.
Remember that. Yeah.
Negotiate residual. You will walk away smiling. But Tom Holland, $500K in his first movie, third movie, $17.5 million. Toby and Andrew only got 1, which, I mean, it's a cameo. Well, not really a cameo. It's a 40-minute guest appearance. But they only got like $1 million. But at the same time, Andrew went out for free. He lost Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Toby. I feel like you would have been alive. You would have been like a Jay-Z type, like a
Marvel producer.
Revered talked about. Nah, he was never a producer. He had the lyrical skills, but not the production skills. He would have been like Jay-Z and Nas in the sense that, oh yeah, that's an old head. That's the GOAT. He's the best rapper who's ever lived, all these things. But the state of rap would still be so evolved that their music would not be as popular as it was back then. Because even, I mean, Nas literally released an album a month ago. So you want to talk about it? No. What are you talking about right now? Ghana dropped his, I think, fourth album, whatever it is, like 2 days ago. People are talking about Ghana, pushing P, everything. Nas dropped a month ago. What happened to that? Nothing. People, yeah, he's a good rapper, but it doesn't mean people want to listen to that sound anymore. We just evolved. We keep evolving. I feel like Pac would have fizzled out at the same time as Nas. Because you have to look at it. Nas, Jay-Z, all those old heads, their music began to waver in the mid-2000s. Early to mid-2000s, they began to waver. Once the new era of rap came on, like the Nelly style, the very flamboyant, pop beats. Because you look at Tupac beats, you look at Nelly beats. Nelly beats are very like pop inspired. He'll have like a sort of feature from like a very popular R&B singer at the time. Like as soon as rap hip hop began to change, it was over for like Nas and them. It was over for them.
Yeah.
Sure, it'll still exist, but the popularity scales shifted like fuck.
I remember this old episode it talked about a while back. Like we were talking about I think it was the very first one of the first episodes I ever did. My friend and we were talking about if Brock Lesnar had stayed in WWE after 2004, we wouldn't have John Cena. And the conversation shifted to if Tupac was still alive, like we wouldn't have Eminem like where he is now.
Do you think Eminem needed a non-Tupac populated industry to succeed? Do you think that's what he needed?
Dude kind of existed in a vacuum. No one else was doing what he was doing.
So well, the thing is, Eminem is white. He was always gonna blow up in some sense.
Yeah.
The main miss though with Eminem was that, oh damn, it's a white guy. He sounds black. And even apart from that, his sound was different because he was one of the first few, obviously Buster aside, to be really rapping fast, have that just proper thing.
Yeah.
Because Buster, it was like, oh, once a song, but Eminem was like most of the time.
Yeah.
And then came Twister, which came up in like the early 2000s. But Twister was also overshadowed by the Eminem era of fast rap, so he also didn't get that famous.
Yeah.
But you see, that I understand. Twister being as big as he was, as he ended up being, Twister's biggest song is Slow Jam. And that was at like the beginning of his career, which says something. So, if Eminem didn't exist, would Twister's fast raps still be as big? Would he be big, like as big? Probably. Like as Eminem? No. But he would have had more notoriety in his life.
I say like
but with Eminem and Tupac, their styles are so different. They can exist independently of each other. They really can. Tupac was never a fast rapper. Yeah. Very vibey, very slow. Eminem could have existed. It came up in the same way.
I just feel like with everything going on with like Death Row, East Coast, West Coast, whatever, and like eventually Dre leaving and whatnot, at some point, like I think Tupac, even though he would be releasing music, Eminem would be releasing music, at some point Tupac would be like, yo, who the fuck is this white guy? And it would start there, because beefs have started for way less.
I don't know. I think people kind of give a bad rap on Tupac in the sense that he was an asshole. Yeah, he was an asshole, but he was mostly an asshole when it came to like gang stuff, gang affiliation, and gang activity. Because again, Tupac was a trained dancer. He was an actor. He always had like a chip on his shoulder. He always had something to prove. Like I can do this. Y'all. Sure, he grew up in the ghetto, but he he went to an acting school. He went to dance school. He knew how to do. He knew fucking ballet. You know what I mean? So in that sense, it's come up with it was modern. This guy ain't soft. This guy ain't hard. So then he had to sort of change his image slightly to be more into gangs and because so Tupac, as much as we see him as the ultimate gangster, Ice Cube was a bigger gangster than Tupac because Ice Cube was actually in a gang as a kid. He was really gang banging. He was really out here getting arrested. You know, he lived the NWA life. But Tupac merely adopted that lifestyle as an adult in his early 20s. You know, you look at the movie Juice, and you look at Tupac as like 15, 16. That's like, he's like a preppy boy at that point. He was never about that gang shit. He only adopted that world as a way to very much distance himself from his history in the arts and his history of not being from the streets and being hard. And then that, bled into Crips and Bloods and what he reps and which side he's from, East Coast, West Coast.
Yeah,
and
man.
Also with the West Coast thing, when he jumped into it, he had no idea what was happening. He was really a novice. And obviously some motherfuckers knew that. They knew that this guy ain't really with it, which caused him to be even more with it. Because, someone accuses you of not being about something, you want to do it more. And that's what he did. Then he obviously got into like some, gun shootouts, get arrested, all these things. But Tupac was not the real gangster everyone thinks he is. But he was definitely trying to be about that life so as to make us forget where he came from.
Yeah. I mean, even Snoop Dogg was a choir boy. Just saying.
Yeah, but Snoop Dogg caught a murder charge. Snoop was actually about it.
Yeah.
Snoop is a real gangster.
Yeah. Dude even made a song about it. Murder was the case they gave me. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Shit. But, hey, in the back of Tupac, but the niggas, and also, with his popularity, he need lots of, gangbangers, like real gangbangers. Because even the people who killed B.I.G., what happened was, Notorious did a show on Hot 97. He did a freestyle. In that freestyle, he dissed Tupac, and he was in Cali at the time, right? For the breakfast show plus a performance. And after he dissed him on the show, Cali members, because again Tupac was from Cali, well he lived in Cali, and he had some real shooters within Cali. So now if the enemy of a dead homie of yours comes in your city, this is your dead enemy, in the city you are in and reside in, you're gonna do something about it. And real gangbangers pulled up and they killed B.I.G. And again, it's always a thing of who killed him. Well, we know who killed him. He dissed Tupac in a freestyle, and 2 days later he was dead. We know what killed him. He killed himself by doing that. But, obviously people will always conspire and say, oh, it was Diddy, he set it up, trying to get the royalties for the rest of his life.
Come on.
Because you look at...
That doesn't make sense.
Truth be told, it does make sense, but truth be told, Diddy would not be worth $850 million if not for the estate of Notorious B.I.G. You wouldn't have, because Bad Boy as a label, all their artists, Lil C, Lil Kim, all these people were not doing that good. The only person below Notorious was Lil Kim. But Lil Kim switched over to Universal in the year 2000, so he didn't even have her records anymore. But obviously, if this guy dies, who's gonna keep his masters? Fucking Sean Combs. He still has that shit. He's making bank from B.I.G. till this day. Sure, his family gets a cut, but the cut that Sean Combs has been getting for the past 22 plus years, oh my God. That's what made him that rich. The Notorious G catalog. So it's very much a thing of conspiracies linking to
someone
knowing that if they inherit the estates, it's gonna be, the biggest payday you ever get in your life and continue to get. And they think he knew that at that point in '96, but of course he didn't know that for real. We can't say for sure. But Christopher killed himself. He dissed Park on the radio show in Tupac City, and the shooters came out within 2 days and took him out. He did it to himself. So this beef shit, really overrated. Really overrated. We lost. Young Dolph, a month ago, we lost. Nipsey Hussle. All those Crips and Blood shit, overrated as fuck. We don't need that. People are dying out here.
Yeah.
Gang shit is too real.
Ah, shit, man. We have really, hey, I wanted to get you, to ask you about, what are your thoughts on 6ix9ine, man? We haven't, because I remember there was a point where this dude was doing, features with Nicki Minaj and all this shit. There was a point where this motherfucker was everywhere. Just, yeah.
6ix9ine, he's a rat. Of course, he snitched. He has some pedophilia charges on him. Of course. He was convicted, but just because he was convicted doesn't mean you're not guilty. But 6ix9ine he's a product of the industry. He's what happens when an industry glorifies a specific, activity, the gang lifestyle.
Yeah.
He's what happens when you make people very popular overnight to social media. Because the song that put him up the top was Gummo. I think Gummo was around the time when you were matric. Yeah, matric. Niggas iffy up, like he cut the stiffy up. So social media, it's a combination of so many things. Mostly social media. We created the monster we see now. Plenty of up-and-coming rappers. You just look at Spadum. No disrespect, but, he's not there yet. Even if there's songs under tweet replies. There's a lot of them. You've seen them.
Yeah.
People posting the song, yo, check out my new song. And a song, it'll be like a viral tweet about Mickey Mouse. And then in the comments, there's somebody posting a link to their YouTube channel, a link to their SoundCloud, a link to something, a link to their music. They're always there. The thing that matters is who pays attention. We created 6ix9ine because we allowed him to get famous. If we didn't allow him to get famous, he would have been some other has-been commenting his SoundCloud under a viral tweet about Spiderman No Way Home. That's who he would have been. We created him, and the platform and level of status he achieved allowed him to commit these crimes that involve sex with a 14-year-old girl, allegedly. Don't want to get sued. And we created that. We made a person successful enough and rich enough to be in spaces that could lead to that happen. Lead to that happening. So sometimes it's just be careful who you make famous.
Yeah.
Be careful.
On the subject of BK, on the lighter side of things, when I found out he got arrested and he was going to jail, I kind of laughed. I'm just a part of me is I'm just picturing this scrawny dude with rainbow hair rocking up in prison.
Yeah.
And I'm just this nigga gonna get raped. I'm sorry.
This guy is Mark.
I'm not wishing that on anybody, but let's face facts. This scrawny dude with rainbow hair, come on, dude.
He's Barbie. The guy, the radio host, Charlemagne the God. You've heard of him?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
He once said in an interview, look, man, 6ix9ine is too irritating. He is not getting off scot-free. If 6ix9ine get out of jail, it's like a dude chuckled. He was like, "I'll do it. I'll suck his dick." And he I was like, shh. Of course he didn't do it. But 6ix9ine's charges was concrete. People thought he was going to be there for a long ass time. This motherfucker had gun charges, kidnapping charges, again, and this text them. Charges against him. He stayed in jail. He spent like 8 months in jail. So yeah, man, having a good lawyer on your side is so key. Because how the fuck do you think it's the case? That's crazy. That nigga had to have been using motherfucking Johnny Cochran on steroids.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of shit he was charged with, man. Just, yeah. Anyone else would have...
That's mad.
Anyone else would have rotted in fucking jail. Like, you'd be an old man just coming out like... Dude.
Bobby Schmurda has been 8 years in jail. Which is crazy because I remember the day Hot Nigga dropped, and I remember Bobby being the hardest thing since sliced bread. This is like grade 9, grade 10. No, I'm lying. What the fuck am I saying? This is 2014. This is grade 9. Hot Nigga. Bobby was the talk of the town. And it's funny because in Hot Nigga, that song was his downfall because he spit that song. He snitched on his entire crew. The first lyric, "Chunsi he a hot nigga, like I told Shansi when I shot niggas."
Eesh.
The entire song is, and just this. He's telling on himself and his crew.
Confessing to a crime in a song. Just...
But G is my gun squad. The entire. But GS is my gun squad. I've been selling crackers like the 5th grade. The entire thing is a snitch about. The entire thing. So it's crazy. That song, of course, court case happened after that. The feds came in. Because the thing is, when Hot Nigga dropped, the feds were already on Bobby. Bobby is a real gangster. Like, Bobby is in the trenches. For real. He's not some suburban boy. He's from, like, the deep trenches. So, he was really about that life. He was really doing that shit. He had charges piling up on him from 2012. And the feds were always on him. Kind of like El Chapo before he screwed up, you know. If you're a known criminal, the feds will never really stop keeping tabs on you. Never. They'll have some little tag on you, something. And that's exactly what it was with Bobby. That's exactly what it was. The FBI was on him the entire time, and the only thing was a confession, and that was his song. And they used it as they had already, and boom, they got him. And his entire crew was looking at like 20 years until Bobby took the fall. Again, he's a real nigga. And by him taking the fall on his own, he got his members, his crew's charges dropped. And he took the fall. He's a real nigga for that. I won't even lie. He's a real nigga. He's the opposite of 6ix9ine because 6ix9ine snitched. But Bobby was a real nigga. He held down for his crew. He got them off, scot-free. And he spent 8 years for his crew and his own charges. It would have been longer, but obviously, good behavior.
I'm just like picturing the fact that somewhere, like when they were looking for this dude, there was some FBI agent sitting there listening to Hot Nigga looking for clues and shit.
Bruh, that's crazy.
Oh shit. That ain't, man. That's what happens when real gangsters get into this shit. Like you're gonna expect them to do criminal stuff. Like, but it bugs me when like guys who used to be in that gang life, they've become a rapper and they make a bunch of money but they're still like going out with like gangsters and shit. Like, dude, you don't need to do this anymore. You don't need to like do. You got money in the bank. You can chill. Like,
And it's funny because rich rappers, most of the time when they get arrested, it's for gang affiliation. But like, why are you still affiliating as a multimillionaire? Doesn't make sense.
yeah,
Yet here they are.
dude, it's
Sad.
yeah, mostly black niggas. So yeah, what we gonna do, damn?
Exactly. Gotta dismantle the entire system. Just dismantle. Man, I won't even lie. That is a serious dump. How many cigarette?
What the? There's still this thing going on about make the Amazing Spider-Man 3. So I asked you, like, okay, if they do decide to make Amazing Spider-Man 3, like, do you think we should bring back Mark Webb as director? And you were like, yeah, let him finish his vision that he started
has a
back
good
in the...
Spider-Man eye, but the villains, ooh, hell no.
Not a fan of the Lizard.
I mean, the Lizard, Rhino, Goblin, come on, bruh. He's 3 for 3. He's 3 for 3 bad. But Spider-Man, he looks good. He can do Spider-Man. You know, the suit ripples, the webbing, the swinging. He knows Spider-Man, but the villains,
Oh, he knows
not
Spider-Man,
quite.
huh? I have a criticism to
Yeah.
that line. So, you
Let's
say
hear
he
it.
knows Spider-Man. In Amazing Spider-Man 1, when Peter fires his webbing, it has like a muzzle flash, like a gun. Just
I feel
saying,
like that's a stylistic choice. I mean,
a webbing with
you
a
have to
muzzle
imagine.
flash like a gun. Just
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. How do you fire webbing out of a cartridge? What propels it? And when it comes out, how strong is the force? Pounds per square inch. How strong is that? How strong is that pressurized little area, a tunnel, whatever you want to call it, or cartridge tunnel? How strong is it that it can fire out a web that fast to the point where it sticks in the wall? You know, it doesn't fall to the floor. It sticks in the wall, and it's high pressured. There's some CO2 in there. CO2 makes a little bang. Gases make a little bang. So in scientific theory, like in terms of like real life physics, something that small which produces a little bit of gas, some sort of gaseous exchange, which would be like a little flash, something. If we really want to be technical, you know what I mean?
I do. I can see it, but dude, it just looks. When I first saw
It's
it, I'm
kind of
like, this
jarring.
looks
It's like
wrong, dude.
Spider-Man's he's firing guns. It's kind of it's jarring. Which would you say? So this next Spider-Man, how would Peter be Spider-Man? Do you think he'd still be techie? I mean, it's his suit,
he's.
but the eyes are Tony's. We think. You said it's Tony's. I think it's just like regular eyes.
Would you say?
Because again,
yeah.
those eyes would have the HUD because those eyes are mechanic. So those.
But they wouldn't have Karen. It was offline in No Way Home.
Yeah, because I think after they seized the AI, I mean after they seized the Nano and the drones, they probably deactivated Nano. But I feel like that was Stark Industries that deactivated,
Yeah.
because it was all part of Stark Industries, Rich's under Stark Industries and all that thing.
Yeah.
And also, did we ever figure out how damage control knows Nick is off-world?
Nah, they never explain it. The dude just spits out like Nick Fury hasn't been on Earth. He's been in space for over a year. Like
Exactly. Like he just knows. Like
how would you just know that? You're damage control. You're not sword. Just
dude.
yeah.
I don't know.
This whole
very
thing
weird.
is just Dude, I love this movie. We've spoken ad nauseum of our love for this movie, but damn, this movie has
Yeah.
they're not plot holes. They're like,
It's fridge logic.
yeah,
Fridge logic.
serious fridge logic in here. Like just
Yeah.
the fact that there was an arrest, but no processing, no trial, no mugshot. Just
I feel like they wanted to do something. Because you look, I mean, some of the things in No Way Home, they're a bit half-baked, you know. Some of the things, not all,
yeah,
but some are a bit half-baked. Like Peter's high school scenes, they're very choppy. They're very, one day they're taking pictures of him, the next day they're not, the next day it's this and that. They're very choppy. I feel like the movie had an alternate cut in terms of like, you know, scenes that are removed that maybe had something that better explained how Peter got off. Because again, your lawyer doesn't deal with your case with you in your living room. No, you go to court, a small trial happens, and then they do, you go home because you're not technically arrested, but you aren't having a trial. And then a verdict is reached and all these things. But seemingly in the movie, that all happened by, as done by Matt in I mean, I don't even think he went to court. So it's very weird. Like, it's very, not much is explained. Not much is, there's not much like backstory or setup, if I can say that. Even the whole, I mean, you have to imagine that this is one of three reasons. Budget, right? Budget, film duration, or the actor showing up. So actor presence. Three of those reasons are possibly why we didn't see a fight between DS and the Lizard. Because he just shows up. He's in his cell, and Strange is battered up. He's scratched up. There's no fight.
It was probably in the script somewhere, but they most likely had to cut it for time.
Yeah, and also, here's the thing. The scene where they transform the Lizard back, and he's the man.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's just a deleted scene from Amazing.
It is.
Amazing One.
Dude,
exactly.
I caught that shit in the cinema. I told you, I was like, the scene where Marco tries back. That's the scene from Spider-Man 3. They just played it in reverse.
No. The Marco scene I knew, but I'm talking about the Lizard scene.
Yeah.
So, obviously with the pandemic, all these things, they couldn't have every actor there. But, of course, they did voice their characters. But in terms of having them there, that was another thing. Obviously, Jamie, Melina, and Defoe, they were there. But the others, because also they're from the UK, it's funny how many characters from the Spider-Man property are from the UK. I mean, Holland, Andrew, Lizard. Most people are from the UK. Melina, they're most of them from the UK. Even Daredevil from the UK. Charlie Cox. Crazy.
Yeah.
But since they're in the UK, it was very hard for him to go to the US, be granted the ability to go to the US to film these scenes. So most of it ended up being A&R voice sessions where they're voicing the characters and then they do CGI. But I don't think it was because of the actor couldn't, not being able to be there. No, you can do A&R voice as he did. I think the thing is, the movie could have been too long, or two, there wasn't enough money anymore on the budget to, have a fight go on for like 10 minutes at least, or three, he just didn't record enough dialogue to have a fight where he would be speaking. But it was just so weird. You have him, because we have Peter, he fights Doc Ock, he wins, and then we see Defoe for like 2 seconds, and then suddenly Peter's back in the sanctum, and then we have a post beaten up Lizard and a scratched up Strange. I was like, oh, come on. That's what I want to see, I would want to see that, how that would have played out. But we just never got it. Which I feel like, and also this is Marvel, so I don't see them having like, an ultimate cut or whatever it is. I don't see them having that.
Yep.
But
the one you see in the cinema is all you'll get.
Exactly. If there ever was, I'd want to see the fight. I'd want to see some post universe shift stuff. I want to see Venom. because you gotta make that better. Make that shit better.
Yeah.
Show us Andrew and Toby. Show us the court case. Fuck's sakes. Show us the fucking court case with Matt Murdock. Fuck. Drop Jennifer in there. You know? Hell. Drop her in there. Whatever. Have her leave the court and have them greet. Don't have her be like a 2-minute cameo. Just 10 seconds. Oh, hi, Matt, Jennifer. Whatever. Just to connect the universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have a fucking court case. Because that's what I said. Remember?
Yeah. You were like, dude, we could have had Malsani. Like just. Yeah.
And even before now, even in Far From Home, after seeing the movie, I was like, oh, come on. Who's the best lawyer in New York? Come on.
It's gonna be Murdoch.
I said that out the gate, and we don't get that. Sure, okay, we got a cameo, but come on, dude. We want to see Matt do his thing, but also I feel like if you had that, you wouldn't have the break scene, because where's a break in court? But still, you could have had a court scene and a post-court scene in the house, and then the break catch. But we were robbed of seeing Matt Murdock in this element, because Matt Murdock's element is in the courtroom, but Daredevil's element is in the alleyways, hallways. So I would want to see that. I would want to see them defend Peter. And also, here's the thing. I remember I said this to you a long time ago, but you might have forgotten. I was like, listen, Peter's identity is out. Boo-hoo. Too bad. No Way Home did not need to happen, because you have motherfucking Talos. Oh, also, Nick. If Nick knows what's happening on Earth, he can say, Talos, go to Earth, be Peter Parker, and have Spider-Man be Spider-Man. And then say, well, sorry, Mysterio was lying. He's crazy, he was not job, he's dead. There's Peter Parker in the flesh, and there's Spider-Man. Of course, you can't have Talos be Spider-Man, because he doesn't have Peter Parker's powers. He doesn't have Spider-Man powers.
This whole thing was easily solvable. Just
literally go to have a public press conference like Bruce Wayne in like the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Have a
dude,
conference.
fucking they did that for Superman. In the Death of Superman, they had Martian Manhunter come in and pretend to be yeah. Dude.
It didn't need to happen. But again, gotta make the movie good, gotta have a plot, gotta have this and that. But you really just couldn't have. You didn't need to have that. You have Skrulls. Skrulls are Nick Fury. I mean, Talos and his wife were Nick Fury and Maria. You could have had a Peter Parker Skrull right there and Spider-Man right there to debunk everything Mysterio said. And J-Man would have been just like, fuck.
Yeah.
And then he'd have to, issue an apology like he did in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
But, nah, dog. It's just so many things. But again, if we say that, we have to say more things. If you're gonna bring up that plot contrivance about how they could have done this, you also gotta bring out something else. You gotta bring up, but then why wasn't this person in this movie, and why is every single hero not in the movie when it's an individual hero's movie? So it's just like it's best to leave it alone.
Yeah.
Because the more we break it apart, the more things can just be like, okay, well then why wasn't this character in this movie? Why wasn't Sam Wilson in, Spider-Man? Why wasn't this person in Spider-Man? Why wasn't,
Why would he
get
be?
it?
Like, yeah. Just,
yeah.
Thing is with, I saw in Hawkeye, because at the end, Peter's swinging through town, and he swings by the Rockefeller Center. Like, people are like, is Spider-Man gonna cameo in Hawk? No, it's not. Because when he's swinging through town, that tree is still up.
The tree is still out.
Yeah.
So it's before Hawkeye. Right. So if we put Spider-Man in December, Christmas season, we'll probably say the movie, the end credit scene probably happened like a week after the coffee scene. We should say that it's probably like around December 10, 11, early December. Because I feel like you don't really have the tree up in November, but in December they put it up. So it's an early December.
Because Hawkeye was like, he got back in time for Christmas, shit like that.
Yeah. Hawkeye is December 19 to 25, so that's late December.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man was way before. But also, it's just like, come on, a little... You know what I wanted? Remember when Kate was talking to Clint and trying to motivate him? Like, you taught me that a hero does need to have lasers, and I would have wanted her to say, or to have super strength and be able to swing past buildings. Just a little Spider-Man name drop, because Spider-Man's in the world.
Yeah, but he's not. I mean, he can say he's a friendly neighborhood hero, but dude, he's not, man. He's not. Like, his escapades have been in Civil War. He was in Europe, and
that.
just yeah.
She could have said that. But that would have been cool. Like, okay, you don't need to have lasers. Okay, that's an Iron Man reference. You don't need to have a hammer or a Thor reference. And Spider. Oh, come on. But yeah, it kind of makes the universes seem very
small,
separate. When you don't have that many things linking it like that.
Weren't you literally hopping on Eternals for having a bunch of references to, like, oh, I knew Thor when he was a little kid, and just...
See, the thing is, those ones weren't convincing. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just say, Odin told me this recipe. You can't just say that. You can show Odin maybe in a flashback. That's better, but you can't just speak and drum up conversation like, I did this. Finding your ego. Because, that was Eternals. Odin told me this recipe. Thor used to hang around me as a kid. Okay. At least have a cameo with the short blonde kid in Tonsberg or wherever in the world he would have been as a kid. At least show us something. Have a little flashback. No, it's just hearsay. No, that's not enough. But if you're going to have, like, a name drop from the character just because he's in the universe and just because she saw him around swinging or whatever, because, again, it is New York, Spider-Man's territory.
Yeah. And
that feels more. It feels more organic than Eternals, and fucking Asgardians. Like, come on.
There was a problem. I didn't realize this till I saw it on, like, Facebook or something. A dude brought up a question, and it just blew my mind. Like, holy shit, he's right. It was about, there's a scene in No Way Home where Osborn goes to, like, the shelter, and he's like, there's someone else living in my house. Oscorp doesn't exist. The dude on Facebook was like, okay, if Oscorp doesn't exist, where did Peter Parker get his spider bite from? Because in the comics, in the movies, it's Oscorp. So if Oscorp doesn't exist...
Not always.
Then...
So, in Spider-Man 1, Peter Parker's field trip is at the University of Columbia's research division. So because I remember I had the same question, and then I watched a video from Eric Voss, and he was asking as well. I think I posted a link on the group. I was like, if he didn't do this, then who gave him? Where was the thing that I posted? But I remember I mentioned it, and I was like, no, it wasn't always Oscorp. Usually it's Oscorp, but it wasn't always Oscorp. There it is. You see, I think I sent a message. I'll just send a full stop so you can see it. But I did ask this question myself. But then after watching the video, I was like, oh, okay. In Spider-Man 1, he's not at Oscorp. He's at the University of Columbia and, their research division. And even in the original Spider-Man, the Kirby first issue, he's also at, some sort of research facility. It's not always Oscorp. It's Oscorp in the Ultimate Universe, and it's Oscorp in the updated 616 universe. I guess you call it a revamp or whatever you call it, refresh. But it wasn't always Oscorp, and it wasn't Oscorp in Raimi, but it was Oscorp in Andrew. So, because also we are getting the Peter kind of origin series, the freshman year cartoon, which is MCU canon. So it is going to be.
No, I mean, it's been so long.
I mean, I want to see what happened. Because it's very vague.
You want to see Peter in his hoodie and his funky swimming goggles fighting crime?
No. I want to see him catch a car. I want to see him get bitten by a spider. I want to see how that affected his early high school life. Because you have to realize it wouldn't be that far away. Because in Civil War, it was like 8 months ago, 9 months ago?
Yeah.
So Civil War 2016, then you would have been bitten in early to mid 2015. Which is what? When is that? Age of Ultron?
Yeah, around about.
That's Age of Ultron.
Guess who's back from taking a shit?
Listen, I did a lot more than take a shit. I'm sorry about that. I did do some stuff, guys. I played badminton. I played like 2 matches of badminton with my brother. Yeah, man. But I thought I was taking a shit for that long.
I don't know, man.
We thought it was trouble in there. We thought it was a war zone.
A war zone.
Dude.
Of Peter's powers, because I think I did ask the question, as I think I caught it right now, as in a full stop.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about like how it's Oscorp in some continuities, you know, it's Oscorp in the Ultimate universe, but it's the University of, also it depends, because in Raimi it's University of Columbia, in the original universe, in the original comic, you know, from like the 60s, it's just a random university research lab. So we are going to see the origin of it. Since Oscorp doesn't exist, he can't get from Oscorp. So it'll probably be like Raimiverse, where he's at a university and they're visiting a research facility and they're doing DNA splicing, and then we'll see the spider.
Also,
but we'll see that.
Yeah. Also, this essentially confirms that the building the dude was floating through in Far From Home is the Baxter building. Confirmed. Yeah. Oscorp doesn't exist, so it's gotta be the Baxter building.
Exactly, because everyone is like, oh, Norman Osborn. But here's the thing, though. Would you guys want to live, or just, you know, would you guys want to continue watching the MCU, knowing fully well that it will never have Norman Osborn? Would you guys want that?
It's been all right so far.
I think so. Yeah, I think you see, Norman Osborn.
You don't have a woman. You guys want that?
Yeah, I think it'll be fine, because what made Norman Osborn also more impactful was the fact that, you know, Harry was in Peter's life. That's what made it like so impactful. Like, your best friend's dad, who you look up to in some capacity, is this villain. But like him being completely detached and in a separate universe.
And he's already fought him now, so it's just like, would we want to see a Norman 2 versus Peter? Like, it's just like, it will be a rehash, I feel.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
The Norman from the one universe already ruined Peter's life too fucking back. He already ruined it too fucking back. What could this one do? So, I get that. Because also, you know, there's always rumors about, oh, well, since we're in the now College trilogy, we might see Harry Osborn and Gwen Stacy. I don't know about Harry.
You know who I want to see, possibly, right?
Yeah.
Oh God, this is a shot. Okay, what if Peter went to like a university and he got bit by the spider, right? And we know Cindy Moon got bit by the same spider. That's why they have that pheromone shit. Weird. And because nobody knows Peter right now, right? But Cindy will be able to know Peter because they still share that pheromones. And then that could be his like second romance relationship. Link.
I want to see Spider-Man and Black Cat. I'm just saying, I want to see that shit before.
The spider, what is it?
Yeah.
It's the spider web of destiny or whatever. Or does it
web of fate?
It connects every sort of spider. Yeah, web of fate, that thing. So they might sort of know each other. You know, they might feel those Spidey sense vibes. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Because also the character of Felicia in I think it was the first movie in Homecoming, she was sick. I don't know who mentioned it, the teacher or something, but Miss Felicia, I don't know, I think she's still sick. I think that would have been the time when she got that spider bite, you know. So that's kind of, it's kind of like an incredible, you know, sort of the thing situation where they set him up but we haven't seen him yet. No.
Also, you know what I mean? There's also a setup for Cindy Moon in the first movie, right? Threads are connecting, because remember the teacher, when they came back from Washington, the teacher was like, yeah, we can't, luckily nobody died. Not again. The thing is, they thought Cindy died on the trip, but really she was like kidnapped.
Yeah. So, I mean, we don't know what happened.
Yeah. It's all coming together, man.
And now that we have veered so hard
No, okay, what I don't like about Green Lantern is one, the suit, two, the emphasis on the weird fucking yellow thing instead of Sinestro, who's like a character that people can relate to in the story.
I think it was more of a case of too soon. I mean, Sinestro is Hal Jordan's nemesis. I mean, you want to start off like the first movie, introduce Sinestro, begin like put him in the yellow suit and like just off to the races.
No, the first Flight movie did it really well, where Hal met Sinestro, went on a few missions with him, and then the more and more time he spent with Sinestro, the more and more you realize this guy is like, he's not exactly right in the head.
I know, that's why I was like, man, Hal and Sinestro from that movie, they'd make a great like buddy cop movie, and that's kind of what that was.
It wasn't really. Because buddy cops have a dynamic that bounces off each other. Hal was just fucking disturbed by Sinestro. He was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? He was like, he almost killed this one alien.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I don't think a buddy cop would work.
We were talking about, like Green Lantern, like what he doesn't like about Green Lantern. And the main complaint was like, they focused on the giant shitstorm that came down at the third act instead of Sinestro as the main villain. And I'm like, Hal and Sinestro would make a great buddy cop movie, like Lethal Weapon in space or Bad Boys in space, man. Like, the fuck ever.
I think Kilowog and Hal Jordan would make a good buddy cop movie because they do have a dynamic that bounces off each other. But Sinestro and Hal are so like opposite in like their takes on how to use the lantern ring.
What about?
I don't know. It doesn't work for me.
Either Kyle Rayner or
who? Guy?
Who?
Guy Gardner.
Guy Gardner would actually work really well because he's a bit of a nerd.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like Kyle Rayner's more of a sequel guy. Like, you don't bring him in the first movie. He's more like the guy who comes in the sequel.
I'd add Jon Stewart, but he's way too serious. He's way too. Although that can be a benefit because if he plays the straight guy,
yeah,
and Hal is the jokey. It's kind of like Lethal Weapon in a sense.
Yeah.
Kind of like I'm the serious guy, and
but this is crazy. There's a difference. Like, yeah.
You see that dynamic. If it's like
that's what I'm.
John and
yeah, shit.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Would you want it to be in a series, like fucking the Winter Soldier, or a movie?
Series.
I'd go movie, man. Like, just.
There's more screen time with the series, man. There's more screen time.
Yeah, but most of that screen time goes to like the characters' personal lives and developing side characters. Like, just.
Well, it doesn't have to.
That's not a bad
really.
thing, but
It doesn't have to.
No, it's like that's a very CW approach to how you do things. Like, think about shows written like Daredevil. The cast is so tight knit.
Yes, there's like 5 people in Daredevil.
Yeah, you could have 5 lanterns or like 4 lanterns.
Yeah, exactly. You can see that.
I think it would work.
Maybe have like, I don't know, some.
The thing is, with a buddy cop story, it's always like the 2 cops and the villain. It's just, it's not really expanded upon. Yeah.
Would you have Oa though, or would you just be like, keep it on Earth?
No, we'd have Oa. It's in space. You can't
Oa.
It's Green Lantern. That was one of the mistakes the movie made. They put Hal on Earth.
It's kind of, well, they are in the Milky Way quadrant, which is Earth is like the main planet that they're sort of, I guess, assigned to.
I get that,
So
but like,
it would still have to be kind of
but they're space
not
cops.
Earth-based.
That's basically what Green
Not
Lanterns are. They're
Earth-based.
space cops, man. Just
Yeah, but there's space cops for different quadrants. Not okay. So don't put it on Earth, the Green Lantern movie, but have it just be like, oh, Earth is in the distance and we're in the Milky Way. You know what I mean?
right? Yeah.
Because whatever threat would come would ultimately lead to Earth. So in that sense, they are protecting Earth. You know what I mean? So I can still see that. I have it on Earth, sure, because that kind of limits the potential of it, like the Eternals. But do have something that reminds us that, you know, they're fighting for Earth. Because they're fighting for. They're not fighting for themselves, they're fighting for Earth.
Yeah. And let's not have the main villain be a giant shitstorm with eyes and teeth.
Like
Yeah.
Galactus.
Galactus in Fantastic Four too.
That makes no sense. How did the Silver Surfer serve a storm? Just how did he reason with the storm to spare his planet?
Money. Okay, if you want to rationalize it in the movie's logic, in the movie universe, you probably say they have some sort of neural communication method. But in the real world method, they ran out of money. They couldn't do Galactus CGI. The money was spent on Reed. All that Reed stretching money when he's partying and he's doing all the tricks.
And the Surfer himself. So
yeah, and the Surfer and the fight scenes, the sequences with Johnny Storm, and the power switching, and yeah, all those things. After the money went, and with Galactus ended up being a cloud, a cumulonimbus cloud. Jesus fuck.
Yeah.
How badly managed the money? All the money went to. Oh, you guys just have different powers now. Whoa.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It would. Yeah.
I trust the MCU. Who's one is Galactus? I remember once upon a time I just randomly threw like Bryan Cranston in there just for the shit, you know, just for shits and giggles.
Oh fuck yeah! I'd take that. Bryan Cranston would be menacing.
Yeah. Look at the voice. Cranston has a voice. When he wants to, that voice is like, it's like, it's gravelly.
Like, it has to be a guy who, like, he'd rock up and is like, I am Galactus, I am the eater of worlds. And it wouldn't sound corny. Like, just think about it. Eater of worlds, yeah. Like, just, yeah. It would have to be someone with, like, a...
Eater or consumer?
I almost said Lawrence Fishburne, you know, just so... Cause
Lawrence is perfect for Suicide. Keep him there.
But he already exists in the MCU. He's that guy in Ant-Man 2.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, but then you also have Cersei McCann and one of the Kree people in Captain Marvel. Same thing. And Quill's mom and the lady who kissed Cap. It's the same thing. Same thing.
But that's a side character when you think about it.
But who would notice that?
Luke Cage, actually, yeah. And the lady in Luke Cage.
Yeah, Mariah Dillard and random Civil War lady and Blade and what was his character in Luke Cage?
Purple...
Cottonmouth?
No, that's...
Cottonmouth, exactly. So,
Cottonmouth.
It's all the same.
Yeah.
It's all the same. I do feel like he uses a slightly normal, well, not even slightly, just a normal voice for Bill Foster. But when it comes to Silver, he kind of puts in that extra oomph. Kind of like how Ryan Reynolds voiced Juggernaut. Because he voiced him and he CGI'd him.
I didn't know that was him though, man. Like, yo.
If you really look like in between, you know, the spaces of the mask, you can just see it's Ryan Reynolds, especially the lips.
He's essentially at that point. What's this guy? Not Guy. What's this? The other dude. The dude. Shit. Essentially, dude from Free Guy.
Yeah.
Shit, man.
So they could definitely bring him back as the voice and then have a body double. But I feel like in this day and age, whatever actor was signed to the MCU would want to voice the character as well. Because imagine just being cast for your body. They don't want your voice. Kind of like
In Watchmen.
I mean,
Guys,
even Darth Vader.
Yeah, Darth Vader.
David Prowse.
Alex Powell.
And they dubbed him with James Earl, and they didn't even tell him. He found out when the movie came out, and he was pissed. Hey, man, sorry.
Why would they lie, man?
But the
Just be
guys...
up front with the guy, man. Like, yo, we're not going to use your voice. It's cool.
Here's the thing. They filmed several scenes with Prowse's original voice. They heard it, and it was dog shit. He had like a high... Motherfucker sounded like fucking Seinfeld, you know?
I'm just picturing Darth Vader coming down the steps like, hello, Newman.
Like, they were not happy with the voice, you know?
Oh, shit.
The Federation would not be happy for this. And then they just borrowed James Earl, and he was doing Broadway at the time, and they just got him to do the voice. And then they just dubbed it. Which, again, it's pretty easy to dub, because it's a guy wearing a mask, you can't see anything.
I think Ian McKellen would do a great Galactus. You know?
McKellen?
Yeah.
For the voice?
Yeah,
Who
for
would
the
be
voice.
I mean, but the body? Because McKellen is wrinkly.
His body is that important. Mostly CGI.
But then you need a reference, would you? Or would they just go like comic routes? Have him just look like a comic route? Because you could just make it like a comic book.
Wait. Like, what about...
Isn't it?
Dormammu was just a face. It wasn't really...
That's the thing, though. The actors are still kind of humanoid.
Yeah.
So it's like... I mean, it wouldn't be too much of a hassle. Because if they just model a CGI Galactus from some comic run, that would literally... But the thing is, sometimes you still need that reference work. I don't think they'd want a fully CGI, guy without the actual human. Because, see, the thing is with CGI, it's so hard to craft a brand new human. Like, just create someone from scratch. It's much easier to have a person to do reference with, scan their face, do reference with, and, that makes the entire thing much easier.
I mean, they did it for the Matrix Reloaded in that Burly Brawl. There were like 60 Smiths in there, man.
Yeah, they scanned dozens of weavings, and they also had some face masks with actual stunt doubles. But dude, crafting a face from scratch really exposes us to uncanny valley. Even now, dude, because even the troll guy in Eternals, very uncanny. Because for starters, he did not look like Patton Oswalt. He did not. He was just he was a comic accurate troll guy, which they probably designed him from some comic run with Star Fox. He looked disgusting. You'll see it. He didn't look good.
He did. He looked pretty bad.
He stuck out from the scene. You can tell that thing is fucking Howard the Duck looked astronomically better than that thing in Eternals. You actually look like you could pick up Howard. He looks, his fur, the beak, the ambient light that shines through his feathers. He looks like a person you can pick up. That guy is from a PS3 game. So yeah, it's really hard.
So what we're talking here? We're talking The Rock and Scorpion King bad, or
very similar. Dude, let me just record it. I don't know. Do you guys want to see it, or do you want to?
Nah, I'll see it when I watch the movie.
It is bad.
It's pretty bad.
It's not good.
You ever notice whenever we have bad CGI, we always go back to The Rock and the Scorpion King? There's got to be worse CGI, right?
Going back to
in the era, yes, but that was a pretty notable example because that was a big movie at the time. That's the thing. That was a big movie, so.
Okay.
I mean, what do you think of Tron Legacy?
Jeff Bridges looks alright, man. I mean, there is way better CGI now, but for the time, he looked really good.
But the thing is, you also have to kind of give them props because they didn't scan his face, right? They didn't.
They made it from
Nowadays,
scratch.
when you have, nowadays when you have your 45-year-old Douglas and 20-year-old Tony and all these things, you have reference footage. They use that footage. They scan the actor. They didn't touch Bridges. They created a brand new copy of his 25-year-old self from 1978, whatever you call. They just created him from scratch. They didn't scan him.
Keep in mind, Bridges,
which is why some exactly.
Bridges had like a beard, man. He was old in that movie, so yeah.
Yeah, it's why he looked pretty rubbery when he spoke, but it's also why Douglas doesn't look rubbery. Because when you see Hank Pym in the 80s, it's actually Michael Douglas, clean shaven with dots on his face for tracking and reference footage. It's actually Michael Douglas performing. But for obviously Jeff Bridges' character, it was just a it was a CGI rendering from scratch. No dots on his face, no nothing. Which is why, it only accentuated the uncanniness. But then at the same time, you think, even if they had dots in his face, would it have been better? Because you look at X-Men: The Last Stand with Professor Charles Xavier, he looks like hell. Doesn't look good. He does not look good at all.
Oh yeah, that flashback scene. They looked really...
Again, it doesn't make sense.
They look like they got covered in a ton of makeup. But like, hey, we know it's not makeup, but still, dude.
Yeah. It didn't look good. And they tracked his face for that. Same thing with Ian McKellen. It just didn't look good. It didn't come out right.
More like he was wearing a mask of Ian McKellen than it was Ian McKellen. But just...
Exactly. And it's funny because the previous movie did it better. X-Men: The Last Stand did it better than... I mean, dude, look at this. Let me get a very good... let's see. I need a very good picture. Okay.
Hey, did you hear
the first one?
Yeah. I was saying,
I'm sure you guys reference.
Alright, while you're waiting. Hey, y'all, did y'all hear they're working on Tron 3?
Oh,
yeah. I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good stuff. So,
I mean, it's like
the first one.
10 plus years since the last one, man. But to be fair, the sequel was like 20 plus years since the last one, so...
Yeah. Check this out. Oh my god. And Tron 1 is like, when you're like fucked out of your mind and stoned, you watch Tron 1. That's what that movie is for.
No, when you're fucked out of your mind and stoned, you watch Doctor Strange. That's some trippy shit.
Yeah, nearly 30 years.
I mean, dude, that movie, all the time, mind you, they had no computers. They had no, ILM.
Mm-hmm.
The effects that they made were purely digital, hand-drawn, all those effects. The light streaks, everything. Hand-drawn, some practical elements, some creativity, some lighting tricks. That movie was amazing.
Yeah.
What it accomplished, amazing.
Its time is really impressive.
Like, and dare I say, that movie holds up till about the year 2003. It holds up.
Yeah.
Till back then, though.
Maybe.
It holds up better than Star Wars.
I mean, look at it this way. What do we have that was better at that point?
Star Wars came out a few years later, but that was something completely different.
Yeah, that was mostly... I mean, you still had some, but then again, it was CGI in its infancy when it was still in, computers that could only do like one line of things at a time, one line of commands.
Also,
it was mostly the blasts.
Yeah. And Jabba.
The blast, external environments.
Jabba initially was a puppet. The second one...
Yeah, when they redid it, that was...
Which sucks, because, okay, of course in the prequels he's CGI, right? But then Lucas went back for the remastered version, and then he went over that, and they literally took him out. They took out the puppet version, and then they re-added in a CGI version.
Which looks bad.
For me, is pointless.
Dude, Han Solo is literally stepping on his tail in some scenes. It's bad.
Yeah. Like the scenes, I think nowadays, the copies that you'll find on the internet and I think Disney Plus is of the Ultimate Edition that Lucas recorded in '97 with obviously the updated CGI. Of course, he added more people in the cities and Tatooine. He added more cars. He made more, like buildings and infrastructure to make it look like an actual, space civilization. But when you compare it to the original version is very wait, hold on. When you compare it to the original version is very, you can tell that this is limited. It didn't have those fancy backdrops of the city with floating cars and these high skyscrapers. But Lucas went over, made some windows, made some backgrounds. Like there's a scene where Han and Luke are, I think, running through I think it's a Death Star or something. No, not the Death Star. They're with Leia, and they're passing a corridor. In the original version, there was no windows. It was just a panel, it was just like a set prop. But obviously, in the updated version, they added a window, and you saw every single cityscape that we'd see in the prequels.
Yeah.
But is that necessary?
Sometimes no, in terms of that, but there's one thing I will gladly say is necessary that I'm glad George Lucas went back to fix. The stormtrooper hitting his head now has a sound effect because that wasn't supposed to happen. He was just casually walking and then think oh shit.
Right,
when Lucas went back and added a sound effect, just
yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah,
that's pretty funny. I get that.
By the way, there's a shoe in the asteroid field. There's an asteroid field in the first Star Wars, and when they were doing the CGI, one of the guys there hid a shoe in the asteroid field and a potato. So among the debris, there's a big ass shoe and a potato.
Like a modern day shoe?
A regular shoe from back then, man.
Oh, wow.
How Lucas didn't see that, I don't know. Oh, dude.
Have you ever noticed that, it's so weird to me that Hollywood removes, puppeteering and that sort of craft from movies? Look at Jurassic Park. It looks really fucking good to this day because they use puppeteering instead of CGI.
Exactly, yeah. True.
They have
some
learned from that.
Flat.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the upcoming Jurassic Park Dominion?
Fucking no.
They should let the world die. Well, not die, but just...
I have a major gripe with that movie that dates all the way back to the first Jurassic Park, because Sam Jackson's character said, the dinosaurs can't leave the island, right? Because they supply them with this protein that if they stop supplying, it's all the plants and everything, they naturally produce this protein. And if the dinosaurs didn't get this protein, they would slip into a coma and die, right? That's what would happen if they left the island. And yet, Jurassic World Dominion is set off the fucking island, so this whole movie shouldn't exist. This movie should literally just be the first couple minutes, the fucking dinosaurs slip into a coma and they all fucking die. Just, that's it. End of movie, roll credits.
I don't know much about it. I just don't want another one because I don't feel like this universe needs that expansion. So what's the whole plot about it?
It's off the last one.
Yeah.
In Fallen Kingdom, they got the dinosaurs off the island, and they took them to this like remote location. When they were there, they were freed by this little girl, which pisses me off, dude. This chick is a clone, and she was cloned from another girl who died, and all these dinosaurs, they're essentially clones, and they were being gassed. They were gonna be killed. So she sets them free to run loose in the city, and her justification is they're like me. They deserve to live just like me. What the fuck? Do you know what you've just done? What the fuck?
Yeah, that's pretty dumb. That's PIS.
Fucking stupid.
That's purely PIS.
That's PIS.
Plot injures stupidity. Yeah, that's...
Do you have any idea what you've just done? You've unleashed dinosaurs on the ordinary people who live here. Just, this is fucked, man. Oh,
My fuck.
what did y'all think about Jurassic World's Indominasaurus? You know, like the Indominasaurus Rex. What did you think about it?
It was so anticlimactic.
Yeah. I feel like the dinosaurs, they lose that weight once they're CGI. I don't know. Like, not that it takes me out, but at the same time, it doesn't feel as violent anymore. Because it's just like, you can feel the weight is slightly different, but at the same time, it's not as dangerous. Because it just, CGI these days for animals, right? No matter how good it looks, it will always look fake to a degree. That's how I feel.
Yeah, that's true.
The sense of danger you feel will never be as hectic as it would be with a real version of that thing.
Look at Jurassic Park 1. You felt that when they were running away from the T-Rex. You could feel that.
Because again, that's thanks to the animatronics at the time.
Yeah, the animatronics.
Nowadays, people are lazy, or directors are lazy to use animatronics anymore. They just, I don't know. They just don't. Yeah, no, they shouldn't be that lazy.
Keep in mind, creating those puppets, getting them to move that way takes a lot of time and a lot of money. So I think the studio cheaps out,
more.
And it's like, let's just make it CGI.
I mean, if you want to stay true to the craft and let your movie sort of, so it doesn't age like milk, I think animatronics is the way to go. Because it'll hold up in 10, 15, 20 years' time. It'll hold up.
It won't.
I feel like when I was watching the movie, like when I went to go see it, and the Indominasaurus thing, like they at first when they were teasing it up, you had that guy, he was in Life of Pi. He was basically the new John Hammond. He was looking at the thing, and they were hyping it up like, we made a new dinosaur. We mixed in all this DNA. And he was like, forget the kids. This will give the parents nightmares. And it was very hidden. We didn't see anything. We saw bushes. We saw an eye.
Yeah.
It was like, the anticipation was real. I want to see what this thing looks like. Yeah.
It builds suspense. You're right. It builds the suspense.
And then we saw it. Just you.
I was like, fucking lame.
This is it?
Yeah.
Just.
It's a white T-Rex. What the fuck?
Why? A white snub-nosed T-Rex. Just why?
It's just like a T-Rex that didn't see the sun, dude.
Dude.
I don't know whose idea that was.
It's like, dude, you just undid like the last 60 minutes of hype that you surrounded around this creature by revealing it completely. Dude, my mom went to go see that. She was a fan of the original Jurassic Park. She went to go see that. When she came out of the movie, I asked her, like, what did you think? And she was like, they showed it too early. Like, they were hiding it initially, but, like, no, they gave it away too early. Just, dude.
You know when you should have showed it? Should have showed it. You know that final scene at night where they're in that main alleyway and there's that big pool?
Yeah.
It's raining. That's when they should have showed it. She should have pulled up the flare.
Dinosaurs look the best under rain. You're right.
Yeah. And at night. At night. Yeah.
She should have pulled up the flare and then you could like get a silhouette of it. It would be fucking terrifying.
But I still hop on this scene that Bryce Dallas Howard outran a T-Rex
Yes.
in high
Yes.
heels.
Yes. Man, don't
Yeah.
fuck with a woman in high heels.
Bridge
She can
logic,
outrun anybody.
my guy.